Hey, this is Mo Lunsford at Union Grove Lumber Studios.
And this is the Shed Geek. We want to welcome you to today's episode. Thank you for listening to part 2 of a 2-part series here at the Shed Geek podcast. If you missed part 1, just go back to last week and listen for more engaging conversation here at the Shed Geek podcast.
Our mission is to alleviate everyday stressors and help build an enduring support system for widowed parents so that they can spend more time with their children and focus on their family's mental health and healing. So we partner with moms or dads who've lost their spouse and have children living with them in the home under the age of 18 and have lost their spouse within the last 3 years. We picked that number because everything's research-based. The mental health in those first 3 years are critical, and that's really why we pick 3 years. The number one predictor of how well a child will adjust to the loss of their parent is the functioning level of the surviving spouse. So it's like, okay, well, how can we help our parents function as best as they can while they're grieving and their children are grieving, to help them through this time, right? And so what we do, there's really 2 arms to what we do. We have paid services that help alleviate those stressors. And then we also have a family friend volunteer program that does the other part. So the paid services that we offer, we walk alongside our families for 1 year or more, but at minimum 1. And we pay for monthly cleaning services. We pay for home organizing. Both of those things are research-based about what a clean house, what decluttering can do for your cortisol levels. It's actually proven that if you clutter and depression are kind of cyclical and go together. So it's like clean house, clean mind kind of thing. It's all scientifically. I love that because I'm like, CJ, it's scientifically proven. We should get a cleaning lady, you know?
So I operate the same way. My wife will tell you, some people can have a cluttered desk and they know where everything's at. They don't want anybody to touch it. When everything's orderly for me, that's when I know where things are at. And clean house, clean mind, clean, whatever it is. I feel better. I believe in the science behind that. Maybe I'm just obsessive compulsive. I'm not really sure, Kelly, maybe, but if you saw my desk right now, you would see that papers are not slanted at angles. They're straight up and down. I'm a little bit OCD. I've got things in their little spots and they're squared off. And I
love that.
I feel like I can breathe whenever I operate under that. So I totally get the science, whether it's the science or not, it makes sense to me.
Exactly. Well, and I wish I had 1/10 of that actually, but and now think about if you weren't naturally that person, just to start there, and your spouse was the one that helped organize and clean. And all of a sudden now, every time you look at something that is a mess, it's a reminder that your spouse is gone. This goes for like the lawn care, looking outside and seeing all the bushes are overgrown and there's weeds growing, and that's embarrassing to you for the neighbors to see. And but everything becomes so big. When you have this big grief, the things that like ordinarily are like life's burdens, they feel like the weight of the world on your shoulder. And so grief causes this buildup of things in someone's home a lot, and then it becomes so big that you don't even have the energy to tackle it. And so a clean house and, clean sheets for the kids. And there's a healthiness part of that too, right? So, and then the home organizing, it's like we've helped people. I've got my husband's office that's been sitting there. Can't bring myself to go through it. And we could use that space for a playroom or move the teenager into their own space or whatever, fill in the blank. There's always things. So many parents have come to us and are like, we bought this home and we were going to rebuild, we were going to, renovate it. And then he died. And now it's like half renovated. And it's like, oh my gosh, there's just so much going on. And so that can really help with that kind of thing. And then we also pay for self-care stipends. And so oftentimes, this is again, for anyone really grieving, the first thing that goes out the window is really caring for yourself. But now if you're a parent, all your energy is going to your kid and you feel bad stepping away for yourself to go out with friends. You feel bad about that. You feel bad about spending money on yourself. Because also you might not know where your finances are. Everything's in like limbo, right? A lot going on there. And so oftentimes they're not spending any money on themselves and they don't want to get a babysitter and whatnot. So it's like, hey, here's some funds. And we want you to spend that money, because if you're refreshed, you're going to be a better parent. And so how are we going to make sure that you spend that money? Oh, we have a family friend volunteer who's going to walk alongside you. And not only are they going to look out for your self-care, but they're also going to ask you about all the other challenges that you have going on in your life. So,
hello, Shed and Carport industry. I'm Cord Cook, Chief Brand Strategist here at Shed Geek Marketing. Did you know that Shed Geek Marketing works with 45 shed companies and counting? And we are not slowing down in 2025. One of the neat benefits to working with Shed Geek Marketing is working with an agency as opposed to just an individual. When you work with Shed Geek Marketing, you have a team of professionals working diligently to ensure your success. From branding guidelines and brand books to websites, Google and Meta tag tracking that measures the traffic to your website and social media pages, CRM setup and full automation build-outs, lead funnel integration, and so much more. Worried about whether or not we can serve you? Don't be. Shed Geek Marketing works with manufacturers ranging from $1 million a year in sales up to $80 million a year in sales. There is no manufacturer too big or too small. Remember, marketing is an investment that should be making you money. That's why nearly 50 companies have decided to work with Shed Geek Marketing. So for more information, go to www.shedgeek.com and submit some basic information, and we'll reach out with a discovery call and patiently walk you through how we can best serve you. Thank you for your time and look forward to working with you.
a widow, again, at any age, will experience 20 to 50 secondary losses. So honestly, it's no wonder that we don't know what to do and how to help somebody. So it's like, I mean, I could help her with that, but does she need that? I don't know. Maybe she's good at that and she doesn't need that. I mean, if CJ died, I'd be like, someone come over here and tell me how to turn my TV on. I mean, like Frankie, turned 2 and I handed my kid my remote, and CJ did it the other time. I haven't touched a remote in 20 years. Like, you know how much TVs have changed in 20 years? Like, I wouldn't have a clue. So I probably would just never watch TV again. Like, I would need someone for just something as simple as turning a television on. And I feel myself, I'm technologically savvy, but TVs scare me. So anyways, the family friend is going to ask these questions. They're going to be like, what are your challenges? What's burdening you? And then they're going to reach out to the community, the people who want to help you, but don't know how or what you need. And they're going to say, hey, could you help with this? And everyone's going to go, yeah, because we want help. And so we do that. And what's awesome is some of our families don't have anybody. They moved here during COVID, husband got sick, died, and they don't have anybody. They don't have family, they don't have friends. It's like, they're starting from scratch. Other people have a support system, but remember what studies show. Oftentimes they lose their friends and family. This chasm forms because they don't know what to say, because there's the parent who does have a role in this needs to be able to say what they need. And most people don't. We as humans just don't. We just don't. It's oftentimes we don't. If you do, God bless you, because that is what you should be doing, because people want to help, right? So this family friend is a liaison between this already community that loves you and doesn't want to leave you and the parent, and they'll prevent that chasm from happening, which is really awesome. So there's that too. But sometimes parents come on too late in that element. It's never too late to come on, but like that part, that has already happened to them. And so again, they're alone. They feel alone. Or maybe they just don't want to talk to those people anymore because there was a tragic death and they need to separate themselves from that community now. Like that happens too. Everything's understandable and everything's your own. People grieve. There's no wrong way to grieve. So it's like, listen, we just want to meet you where you're at and help build this enduring support system for you, how that looks to you, right? And so we engage the community, we engage friends, and that's part of our mission, is to do that.
I'll tell you what, I love it because I think I told you before coming on here a couple of things. One, just how immersed we are in like the Anabaptist community, the Plain community. There's a huge amount of Amish and Mennonite culture that's inside our industry, and I don't know, anybody who does culture or who does community better. They just have. I mean, every time I talk to somebody, they're like, they've attended like 30 weddings this year. You know what I mean? They're like, we go to this one and this one and this one, and like funerals and just support groups and just the internal workings and mechanisms that they create. And this is one thing that for those of us who weren't raised into that world, in that culture, the world's a little bit harsh. It's a little bit hard. It's a little bit cold. And, community seems to be a uh, far and away removed from what I felt like it was for me growing up. We grew up
Mhm.
around all of our cousins, and that wasn't near what my mom talks about, the closeness of family for them. And I know my kids just haven't got to experience quite the same. We're always in demand, working, trying to make a
Yeah.
living, can't make it to this, can't make it to that, miss a wedding, miss something or another. And we don't prioritize necessarily a lot of the right things. And I think that's happening more and more to the nuclear family in many ways, shapes, and forms.
Introducing Shed Hub, your ultimate shed marketplace. Are you in the shed business and looking to connect with more buyers? Look no farther than Shed Hub. Shed Hub is a game-changing, two-sided marketplace that brings shed sellers and buyers together in one easy-to-use platform. Think of it as the Amazon of sheds. Shed Hub isn't just any ordinary marketplace. It's a powerhouse that ranks on the first page of Google's search results in 91% of U.S. cities. With over 1.2 million impressions on our website last month alone, Shed Hub is where you want to be to showcase your sheds to a wider audience. And here's the best part. For a limited time, you can join our exclusive Next 500 plan for just $39 per month. Simply head over to geek.shedhub.com to sign up and start attracting more shoppers to your shed listings. As the Shed Geek, I am here to endorse Shed Hub and invite you to join me on this journey to boost your shed business. Whether you're struggling with website visibility or simply want more eyes on your product, Shed Hub has got you covered. Don't miss out on this opportunity to supercharge your shed sales. Visit geek.shedhub.com today and make your mark in the shed industry with Shed Hub.
So, I knew whenever we got to talking, I loved your testimony to begin with. We have a ministry. I believe God gives us all a ministry. I've talked about for a long time. There's you get a little farther and you get into Hebrews, and Hebrews 13:3 says, "Be with those in prison as though you're in prison yourself." And we've done a lot of faith-based drug and alcohol rehabilitation and even prison ministry in our time. And I'm in a bit of a desert there. I believe that is and always will be, because I don't think a calling that's placed on your life leaves your life. But I'm in a bit of a desert moment for that. And we just haven't found the right outlet. But the one thing I know is that either, like when God brings you success, and we've just had, just some really cool moments in the last 4 years because of the podcast, connecting with people, learning people's stories. This networking works, right? It starts to meet more people. You throw out a net. We met Joe. Next thing you know, through Joe, we met Kelly, right? Maybe Kelly meets someone because of the podcast. I don't know, but I think that's how God sort of like made it work. And none of us get to sit back and be like, we're the reason. We're the reason. Like, the reason, and it's God. And I love it. So I hope someone's blessed by your story. But us as a company, Shed Geek, I just really wanted a place that we could publicly talk about who and where we're helping, and who we line ourselves up with and what we do as a company. And when I heard your story, I was just really so touched by it. I mean, the magic, of your mom going home, on May 3rd, and your stroke a year later on May 2nd, and the day to celebrate mothers and orphans being May 3rd. Just listening to the whole story, we got a chance to be there. And it's very emotional. It was very raw, and it was very real. And it was something that we just took away. There were so many good stories there. There were so many other people that talked, and we're connected with a lot of people that have a lot of things that they, believe in. Couldn't be any more proud of, Sam. I know you don't know Sam, but, I was telling you about what they're doing with, sheds in North Carolina and being able to give those away. The tornado relief here near our home in West Kentucky, whenever it came through Mayfield last year, last year, it's been a couple of years now. We were able to come together with Sam between the podcast and the Shed Olive Brotherhood. I think we raised something like $50,000 in 24 hours. We even did a shout out to Chip Gaines on Instagram, and Chip actually answered on Instagram, and he gave us $10,000 towards the calls of. And what was the most awesome thing, Kelly, is like whenever we would go and we would give away these generators, I knew that a lot of these folks in the Mayfield community before the tornado probably watched the Learning Channel or Magnolia Network or whatever it was, right? And they knew who Chip and Joanna were. Most people do. A lot of people really do. And I knew that if I said, "Hey, these were donated to you by the Shed Geek," people would be like, "Okay, great. Don't know what that means." But instead, I was able to say, "Well, I'm not exactly sure which of his $10,000 went towards which generator." So I just assumed any generator I grabbed was donated by him. And it gave me the authority to say, "Hey, have you ever heard of Chip Gaines?" And they were like, "Yeah," like on the Learning Channel. And I was like, "Yeah, he donated this generator to you."
I love that. Yes.
And that was so powerful because they was like, "Oh, God bless him. Tell him we said thank you." And I was like, I don't really have that kind of access to him, but it was just kind of nice to be like, what he stands for as a brand is his walk with Christ, and he lives that publicly. And because he gave, you know what I mean? I didn't need the glory, you know what I mean? Like that's not what it was about. It was about the ability to give. And
are you ready to elevate your shed business to new heights? Your pathway to success just got a whole lot smoother with ShedSuite's innovative marketing platform. At ShedSuite, we like to think we understand the shed industry at least a little bit. And over the last 7 years, we've been building awesome software for shed businesses. We focus first on building easy-to-use software to help you create and track orders, like the point of sale and after the sale order fulfillment. And now we're excited to announce our full-feature CRM, all things pre-sale, like prospecting and follow-up, all to empower your shed company to market better and sell more efficiently. Our platform empowers you with a marketing toolkit designed to amplify your online presence, engage your audience, and drive sales like never before. Enjoy the ease of conversion tracking, email marketing, centralized lead communication, and so much more. Oh, and guess what? It even comes with an iPhone and an Android app. With ShedSuite's marketing platform, crafting and deploying effective marketing campaigns is a breeze. The advanced reporting functionality allows your team to analyze real-time conversion data so you can make informed decisions and watch your business flourish. There's no better time than now to join the community of shed business owners who are scaling up with ShedSuite. It's time to turn your marketing efforts into real trackable results. Visit shedsuite.com/marketing to get pricing, explore the features, and book a demo. ShedSuite is committed to building top quality software to empower your shed business to thrive.
Right now, we just have not. I mean, hey, we support Sam. We support all of these different endeavors, the tornado cleanups, the storm cleanups, all these things. But I heard your story and I thought, man, we just really need to get behind something. So we're going to dedicate something. Me and Deanna will dedicate something ourselves to your effort. But I don't know what that'll be, but we're going to donate. And but more than anything, we're going to put a link for those of you who get the newsletter, the email newsletter that comes out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We'll put a link. Not only there will be that one there today's episode that might have been how you heard about it, but we'll put a link to Kelly's website here, www.wprp.org. So Widowed Parent Relief Project, WPRP. And there is a donate button right on here that you can give. I encourage you to go and give. Hey, listen, I'm not going to wear you guys out, the listeners, with this. I try not to do that. I always tell you guys, if we're starting year 5. This week starts year 5 of the podcast. We're over 300 episodes in, and we don't ask for money. We ask our advertisers for money. So like we don't ask for money unless it's some charitable event or something. But if you've ever wanted to support me, Shed Geek, we do this for free. This shows up in your email. This, you turn on Spotify, boom, there we are. You get on YouTube, there we are. We put a lot of effort into this. We really want you guys to go celebrate vendors and advertisers, sponsors who support our show. By all means, go tell them Shed Geek sent you. But if you ever wanted to support something that has no calls tied to the shed industry, there's no backdoor into hoping that, you know, if you guys celebrate Shed Pro or the Zula or any of these different things, Union Grove Lumber or this has nothing to do with the shed industry. This is just a noble cause on my behalf. And that might be nothing, Kelly. And I don't know, that might be a lot on my behalf. If you have not pledged your personal conviction, your business, if your business does not tithe, if you have something that you're just inspired today, if you're not inspired by the podcast, maybe you'll be inspired by calling Kelly, talking to her, hearing her story, getting to meet her team. I would ask, this is something we want to support. And I would ask that if you were ever considering in any way, shape, or form, call her, click on the link, donate something today. I promise you $5 is welcome. I guarantee it. I've never found an organization that says too little is not enough. There's no such thing. So, feel free to give. And don't find yourself falling into the trap that Kelly was talking about earlier that we all do. We all say the same thing. We all fall into that trap, right? We all fall into that trap of like, if there's anything I can do, let me know. If there's any way I can help, let me know. And it's like then one ear and out the next. And it's really hard to beg on behalf of people, right? And really, you shouldn't have to, because they should give with a free heart. And I believe that if God convicts them, they will give with a free heart. But I want to leave you with a couple thoughts here. This is one of my favorite things about Simon Sinek. And I'm on this kick. And you guys may have heard me talking about, being a giver versus being a taker in this world and what that means. And Simon Sinek talks about this. He said he did an experiment. There's a YouTube video out there where he's talking about this. He said with a homeless person. He said, when you're a homeless person, we've all done this. We've all walked by someone and you've seen the sign, if you want to give, if you don't want to give, whatever, give to me because I'm poor, give to me because I'm hungry, give to me because I'm a vet, give to me because I have a dog, I have kids, I have whatever it is. If you give, you pay for that feeling that you get, that feeling of goodwill when you give. You're paying for that feeling. It's a commercial transaction, he says. You're paying for that feeling of goodwill. If you don't give, you can't feel good. You either feel bad or you feel nothing. But you don't feel good about not giving. So, and the question is, it's like, he talked about this homeless person. He said, they typically make about $40 or so a day by sitting there selling this feeling of goodwill. If you'll give to me, you'll feel good. So if you just give to me, you bought that feeling, you feel good. And he says, but I found that sometimes you can change the narrative. And he said, what I did was, I changed the sign, and this homeless lady made $40 in 2 hours as opposed to $40 in 8 hours. And he said, what did the sign say? He said, I just changed the sign to simply say this: I know you can't give to everyone, so if you only give once a month, please consider me next time.
Oh no.
Sam, what's going on? Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine, Lisa. I was just trying to get a screwdriver and all this other stuff fell down. I'm ready to go buy a shed so we can have some space in this garage again.
I agree. I keep looking at the shed Mr. Jenkins bought. Let's ask him where I got his.
Howdy, neighbor. We're wondering, how do you like your shed?
I love it. It's exactly what I needed, and I couldn't have asked for a better service.
And where did you get it?
I can't remember, but let me check. Something this nice will probably have the builder's name on it somewhere. No, I'm sorry. I can't find a name anywhere.
Well, we finally got a shed.
Yes, I just hope we're happy. The thing is a lot more shoddy than I expected, and I'm sure I told them I wanted a window, but they didn't have it in the paperwork, so I couldn't argue. Boy, is this a lousy shed. We haven't even had it 2 years, have we?
Barely. It was just a bad deal all the way around. Mr. Jenkins told me the other day that he likes his shed so much he wants to get a second one, but he still can't remember where he got it.
Your product is your best advertising. At Identigrow, we provide nameplates that ensure your quality products are never forgotten. Identify your products, grow your business. For more information, visit identigrow.com.
It's all about the giver, and it's nothing about the taker. It's nothing about who I am. I'm a vet. He says corporations do the same thing, don't we? You know, we're the biggest, the baddest, the fastest, been around the longest. We're this or that, we're that, blah, 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 me, he says, you know? But when you make it about the giver, you know, you've addressed their concerns. Well, I can't give to everyone. Well, we totally understand that. Of course you can't give to everyone, but our cause is worthy. So, and because our cause is worthy, if you can only give once a month, I just ask that you would consider me next time. And because of that, we want to extend the offer to put an ad in our newsletter for your project, and hope to keep it in front of people constantly, where if you don't give immediately, maybe you'll give eventually. Maybe you'll consider going. And you say, what's this got to do with sheds? Nothing. Nothing. This is not about what you can take from the podcast. This is 4 years and 300 episodes where we've never asked you to do anything more than give to the people who help sponsor it and keep us on the air. But in this situation, I want to call you guys to consider giving to this cause, because this cause is valuable. And if you don't give every time, and you can't give every time, I would ask you, please consider Kelly's cause. It'll always be here available. We'll make sure to put something on the newsletter. A few things to, you know, the things that I want to point out, and I spoke about this in our keynote speech recently. You know, Rick Warren, author, you know, Purpose Driven Life, Saddleback Church, he says there's more promises related to generosity than any other promises in the Bible. More promises related to generosity. Why does God want us to give? Because you can give without loving, but you cannot love without giving. One of the most important Bible verses according to our faith is what? It's John 3:16. For God so loved the world. What did he do? For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. It's better to what than what? Everyone knows that. It's better to give than to receive. Keywords in the Bible. Everybody can believe, and that the word believe is important to the Bible. It's mentioned 272 times in the Bible. The word pray, we know that's important. It's mentioned 371 times. The word love, extremely important, 714 times. But the word give, 2,152 times it's mentioned in the Bible. So we are called to give. And I won't pander. I won't ask for your money, because your money's not mine. It's not Kelly's. It's not her cause. It's the Lord's anyway. So if you feel convicted to give to this cause, this is something we want to support. I was so touched, me and Deanna were personally, by your story, that we said as a business, we need to find a reason to give. And I've always been so drawn to prison and those who are in prison and drug and alcohol rehabilitation. But I love what you said, you know, the Bible verse that, you know, the best form of religion, it doesn't matter what denomination, what culture you are, to be able to give to widows, to be able to help children, to be able to help those who can't help themselves. So we believe in your cause. We don't know you well, just to be clear. We're not trying to sell people on, you know, me and Kelly are buddies and grew up together. I'll tell you what, we got some things in common. Both married our high school sweethearts. You know, me and Deanna's been married for 25 years, and we just celebrated our anniversary, and we started at 15 years old in high school. You talked about being vulnerable. I'm not perfect. We was very vulnerable when we started a podcast. We're still vulnerable to this day because we have to put thoughts and opinions out there, and others get the opportunity to keep it to themselves. And we're actually out there, and we're loud about our thoughts. And we hope that those thoughts align with people. And this came to me while you were doing your testimony there. Being a good person costs nothing, but not being generous or charitable costs you everything. It's something that God just put on my heart while we were here talking. So, again, we don't pander for giving hearts. We ask for giving hearts. But if you've ever wanted to support us, 4 years of our endeavors, and who knows, Kelly, maybe it's going to be another 4 years of trying to sign on to work with you as a destination for us to be able to point people to. I believe businesses should do that. I think it's part of your mission, vision, and values. It should be part of your statement. You should care about more than making a profit. I think Simon Sinek says it. It's right here. And I'll leave you with this thought. It said, the fact of the matter is 100% of customers are people, and 100% of clients are people, and 100% of employees are people. I don't care how good your product is. I don't care how good your marketing is. I don't care how good your design is. If you don't understand people, you don't understand business.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
Are you a dealer who sells multiple products at your shed lot? Are you tired of sifting through clunky or overcomplicated softwares to simply sell a product? If so, it's time to call Cal. Consumer Aligned Logistics is the affordable, simplified, and scalable solution for your shed, carport, or even RTO company. We are partnered with Idea Room and Shed Pro for configurators and have multiple RTO partners to choose from JMag to Heartland to Shed Geek Rentals and Scott's RTO. And if your partner isn't listed here, just ask. We are happy to add more. Give us a call at 425-359-3279 or visit calcanhelp.com. That's CALCANHELP.com.
And I'll tell you one thing, like with businesses specifically, it's one of the things we do for our families. Being a vulnerable population. I mean, I just think as a woman walking into an auto body shop, and it's like they ask you, oh, you got to change your filter. You're like, okay, you just trust them, right? And like the very, very vulnerable population, and there's a lot of anxiety that exists with our women, especially that when things need to be done on the home, when they have to hire people to do things, they have to make these choices by themselves now. And I've heard nightmare stories of them being taken advantage of. I mean, nightmare stories. It makes me so sad that people exist like that in the world. And so one of the things that we do is we partner with good businesses. And when I say good, I mean people who care about people. I know that you might not do the best job in fixing their deck, but you're not going to take advantage of our parent. You're going to be loving and careful and do the best you can, and you'll be honest, right? And so we have a whole thing we call it Knoxville Resources Database, and it's full of businesses that we know have good hearts, good character, that aligns with our mission. And that's what we want to do. We want to refer good companies that are going to do good business as good people.
That's awesome. Kelly, we're going to actually be in Knoxville, I think, in August or September at the Shed Expo this year. So maybe we can connect while we're down there. I think Joe's going to be there. So we'll try to find a way to make it work. But I'm going to do something because I always do this for every guest, and I didn't even prepare you for this. And I know we've ran long on time, and that's okay. I feel like it's God's time anyway. But I always give the guest an opportunity to ask a question, because normally I will spend a whole bunch of time interviewing you, asking you a bunch of questions. I was so happy that we just wound you up today and you took off and you did great. It was amazing. We were so happy that you were able to share your testimony. But we always give you a chance to ask a question to me, Shed Geek, whether it's shed related, podcast related, or just life in general. If you had a question to ask me about anything, what would it be? Or do you have one at all?
Oh, that's great. Well, first of all, I want to thank you so much, Shannon, for having me on here and allowing me to tell this story and willing to share what Widow Parent Relief Project does. Like, thank you. Like, I really have a question about like how how you got started in this. Like, what possessed you to decide I want to do this podcast and electronic, help in the shed industry? Like, how did that come to be?
I just I started working in the shed industry. I sort of found it through a mutual acquaintance who was an old friend who worked in the industry. So when I found myself in a depression at the lowest, I reached out to him. He got me a job, and then started going to church. Found God myself, and was like, "Wow!" I was on this mission all of a sudden, and it's been a wild ride. I'm thankful that God has given me this, but I like to think I'm a people person. We build a big brand on trust. You talked about that, about companies you partner with. It's huge for us. I'd rather, again, you do a mediocre job with 100% trust than a excellent job, and I feel like I got to watch out for you or something. And I was driving around all over the country talking to these people, trying to get them signed up for services. And I was like, you know what? I'm getting in my car, listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks, and I'm like, I know this is crazy, but could we talk about sheds? And then I come to realize, like, yes, we can. Not only can we talk about sheds, but the conversations have a lot of times, and so some of the listeners will agree with this. Some will say, I tune in because I like the parts that's not about sheds, even. So we talk about faith, family, everything here. We don't, we try to bring it back to sheds as best we can. But the reality is, I just love to be a conversationalist. I'm very interested in people and their stories and their mission and what drives them. I can drive from here to Michigan to Utah, and I'll see a house on the side of the road. I'll be like, wonder what those people do, And my wife would tell you, give me 5 minutes and I'll find out. Because if I see them, I'll just pull up and be like, tell me your story. And they're like, get out of here, you weirdo. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm interested in people and how they operate. And communication's an important thing for me. So, I believe this thought. I believe that there's enough food in the world today to feed everybody right now. And for some reason, that's not happening. Why? We're not communicating why. Somehow something's getting in the way of that. So I believe we can do better, be better as people. So yeah, that's really my story. I'm just interested in others. And somehow I became like this guy in the industry that's like, oh, you're the shed geek. And I'm like, oh man, it's not about me. It's about him, and it's about our guest. I want to shine that light on you guys. So
Well, that's just people a lot of times will say, and I get this because my story of looking for my purpose and feeling like I need to have my work align with God's mission, right? Well, not every job is that clear in that.
Yes.
And it's like, you can love people wherever you're at and make a
Yes.
difference in anything that you're doing with the people right in front of you and the job in front of you. And so I love that about your story. That's really cool. The difference you're making.
Well, it's been great just talking to you, getting to know you. Deanna will probably reach out to you. We'll try to get you a date set up for when this is coming out.
I have to see you, and let me know for sure when that is. Definitely.
Absolutely. We'll connect with you when we're down there. Again, for you guys, be sure to go to the website, check it out. If you're not sure, make sure to sign up for our newsletter. You'll be able to see the link there. If you get the newsletter, you'll be able to see. We'll eventually get if we don't have it already by the time this comes out, we'll have the link there to the website. Go give. Be a giver today. 2,152 times the Lord commands us to give. We're going to give. We ask that you would give. So if you ever wanted to do something to help me, if you're not doing business with me, if we're not somehow working together and you're like, oh man, I just like the guy. If you're one or two listeners out there that say that, you know what, go give $5 or $10 today. That would mean the world to me. So
thank you. It'll make a big difference. I appreciate that, Shannon. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being on today. Nice to meet you. Nice to get to know you.
Likewise, right back at you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Hey, this is Mo Lunsford in sunny Union Grove, North Carolina, and we want to say thank you to all the guests and listeners.